David Arquette joins us today. It's another celebrity interview on KJ Today.
Hey, KJ.
Hey, David.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, well, hey, David. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, KJ?
I'm good. Oh my gosh. I mean, are you kidding? I get to start my morning off talking with you, Mr. David Arquette. Life is good. Have you had enough coffee? Are you ready for my energy?
I have, and I'm ready.
All right. So we are talking with David Arquette, and the movie that we're here to talk about. I am just so intrigued with this for so many reasons. It is called The Good Half. And what a cast. You, David, Nick Jonas, Brittany Snow, Matt Walsh, Elizabeth Shue. I mean, it just goes on and on. Alexandra Shipp. Can you talk first off what it was like to be able to kind of, it sounds like you're a bit of the comedic relief here in this movie that is kind of surrounded by some more difficult topics like death and planning funerals.
Yeah, it is. It is. I am. I'm sort of the cringe-worthy comedic. I'm the stepfather named Rick, and Nick Jonas' character Ren comes back to Cleveland, his hometown, and unfortunately, he has to bury his mother. And his sister's played by Brittany Snow. But I don't really, as their stepfather, I don't really take their feelings into consideration too much when planning it. So it leads to some uncomfortable moments. And yeah, Rick was a funny character to play because he's like this narcissistic character. So I'd have all these moments where we'd ad lib something, and I, in my head, would think, "Oh, that's funny," but I would think, "Oh, my character wouldn't think that's funny. He'd be annoyed by it." So I'd have to have these reactions that weren't my natural instincts.
I mean, was it difficult for you there in Hollywood to find inspiration playing a narcissist?
No, absolutely not. I was always fascinated by narcissism, and you have to have a certain amount of it just to be an actor. I mean, in general, just to have the confidence to stand up in front of camera or in front of an audience and sort of own the performance. So you have to balance it. But in Hollywood, there tends to be a ton of them, and some of them don't understand the balance element of it. So I was obsessed so much that I once mentioned to a therapist, I was like, I'm really interested in narcissism and narcissists. Do you have any narcissistic clients? And he said, no. Do you want to know why? And I said, why? And he said, they don't need me. That really told me everything I needed to know about narcissists.
In dealing with family dynamics, I've been doing this a long time, and a lot of my followers were with me actually when my parents were passing away, and I made a lot of jokes on the air about like the process you go through in planning a funeral. I think if you're not laughing about it, I don't know how you get through it. Did you find when you were creating this film that there was, I mean, there has to be a balance of like, this is serious, we're dealing with death, but also sometimes this is just utterly ridiculous, and you had to kind of portray a little bit of both, right?
Absolutely. I lost both my parents too, and that whole process is just so heart wrenching, but there is a lot of humor in it. I mean, even the awkwardness of someone saying, how you doing when it's like the worst day of your life. I mean, those moments happen all the time. And it also triggers like the extremes in everyone's personality. If someone's a controller, then they want to just control everything, and it's the most uncontrollable situation ever. So it piques everyone's sort of trigger points, and you kind of have to find these ways of laughing at it. But the director, Robert Schwartzman, has a really wonderful way of balancing it. It was written by a guy named Ben who took from his own personal experience of losing his mother and sort of noted down all of these moments and having to deal with his stepfather and all this stuff. So I think it was really cathartic for him to sort of experience that and write it down and have this film made. sort of go through that process.
We are talking with David Arquette. The film is The Good Half, and we're doing this as a Fathom event. So we've got tomorrow and then the 25th. And I did look at, we're here in Indianapolis. There are like 4 or 5 theaters that this opportunity to see The Good Half, and then also there's a Q&A with Nick Jonas and some of the other cast and crew. So I want to make sure that we are getting those tickets if you want to come see the movie. And then I would imagine, David, are we going to get a digital release on this as well?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have a digital release, but hopefully, if enough people go out, it could stay in theaters longer. It's really kind of the film you want to see with a big group, because there is like laughing and there's emotional moments, and it really, I don't know, hopefully could be healing in a way. I mean, I've found like in losing people, and the director does a really wonderful job of like flashing back on some really beautiful memories. And it is really about, I don't know, the most healing aspect to it that I found was when you can reach a point of gratitude of having these people in your life to start with, even though it may have been a short time. I mean, that really has brought me the most healing. And and remembering their memories and keeping those memories alive. And then for me, in losing my parents, to continue to live my life so that they'd be proud.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and there are, moments, I think, for everyone where you're like, man, I wish I could call my dad, or I wish I could call my mom and tell them that. But you live it as if you could, right?
Totally. But I had this one experience when I was my second child, my son was born. I was looking at him and I was thinking, oh, I wish my mom and dad would have got to meet him. And I had this overwhelming feeling that they were right with me at that moment. They were watching him as well.
Absolutely. I know that feeling too. David, this has been such a wonderful conversation. I'm so excited that we could talk about The Good Half, and know that you've got a lot of fans out there, and people wanted me to talk with you about Buffy, because I actually have a cat named Buffy that's sitting in the room watching me talk with you. You've had an incredible career. Do you look back on some of those things you've done, Buffy and Scream, and kind of take it all in and be in awe of yourself and the things that you have done?
I'm not sure I'm in awe of that, but I also have a cow named Buffy, and from Buffy specifically, I met so many of my wonderful friends. Paul Rubens, Luke Perry. I just loved him. He helped me, put in a good word for me to get that role. But getting to know Paul Rubens was just and we just lost him recently a year ago. So it was just a real gift for me just in my life. So that's what I usually do, is just lean back on gratitude again.
I love it. Thank you so much, David. We'll let you go today. And again, The Good Half, go see it either tomorrow or Thursday so that we can keep it running in theaters, because it sounds like a movie that we all could really use right now. David, have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks for joining me for another celebrity interview. KJ Today, where you'll find the positive vibes of pop culture, people to know, and pets. If you like this interview, please make sure you give it a like, rate, review, and subscribe. And join us on YouTube the first Wednesday of every month for the full KJ Today show, where we play trivia, bring you more celebrity guests, and even a pet of the week to keep you feeling the positive vibes.